Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for First Man. It's a movie starring Ryan Gosling as Neil Armstrong, and it follows him from when he was a test pilot up through spoiler alert if you haven't ever heard of the moon landings before, but he landed on the moon. So that portion of his life. I would say that it's closer to a biopic than Apollo 13, which was more of a situation, oh shit, this is what we gotta fix situation. But it's not the fantastical version of the Taron Egerton one. You know what I mean? So, but it's a fun time. I liked it because it had excellent pacing. It kept me interested and engaged. And I gotta say, and maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing, I think it's a really, really good thing that if you need someone to be able to speak to the audience without using words, Ryan Gosling is your man, because he did a fantastic job in Drive, and he also, now he does talk more throughout the movie, but he conveys so much without having words to be said, and I think that they did a really good job with that, with the direction and with the writing for everyone else around him, as well as, of course, Ryan Gosling knocked it out of the park as always. What I will say is that my one complaint with that methodology, if you will, was the opening scene. Now, the opening scene is intense, and maybe it wouldn't have been if he did speak more. Who knows? But I was personally a bit distracted by it in the scene because of how little he spoke and responded, because it opens with him doing a test pilot run of an aircraft. And I have seen so many other movie scenes of test pilots testing a thing that they're piloting that there's not enough communication back and forth between Ryan Gosling and the control tower or whatever. In all of the other test piloty scenes, they're oh, check for this, yep, check that, okay, moving up to here, yep, doing that, oh, I'm gonna be doing this, oh, roger that. There's a lot of back and forth radio communication. And in the opening scene here, it is all one way until he lands. Or doesn't land. I'm not gonna spoil that because it's a test pilot run. So, it could have used more dialogue. Now, I read in the trivia that they were oh, they have originally shot it with more dialogue, but they felt without it, it was more tense or some shit. And maybe they're right. Maybe they were right, because it still felt tense to me. So, good job them. But I also was distracted by the lack of dialogue. But in general, I thought this movie did a really good job of, giving me another different perspective on the life of Neil Armstrong and the space program that he was a part of, and just things that affected his life and the participation thereof. It's not one of those ones where, with a lot of the singer type biopics where there's the build up and then they drugs and money and alcoholism and crashed out and they it's not that type of biopic. So that's why I'm saying it's not quite that type of biopic. It's a different sort of movie, but it's still engaging, and I, as someone who's not an expert in Neil Armstrong, found that I've discovered more about him and his character and about the things that went on in the lead up to the moon landing. So I enjoyed this movie. I hope that you would too, if seeing a realistic-ish thing for the moon landing sounds like something you would enjoy, because I enjoyed it. You'll probably also like Apollo 13 and vice versa if you like this movie. Just throw that out there. So yeah, that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Bye.